Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Monday Inspiration with Becca is Light. This is the day after the Super Bowl. So to all of my Eagles fans, what up? Because I'm an Eagles fan for probably all of the wrong reasons, but I'm still an Eagles fan, so I'm gonna take credit for that. That game was awesome last night. So if you saw it, you were like on fire. There was a moment I was like, what's gonna happen? But they pulled through. It was a great game. All of that. And then if you watch This Is Us after that, it was kind of like, whew, that was a tearjerker. Anyway, so welcome to Monday Inspiration. It is Becca is Light. I just got to work. It's like 10 something. And I want to first give a shout out to all of my peeps that deal with chronic pain. I woke up this morning kind of scrolling through my Facebook, and I saw a post from my cousin who was just thanking the Lord for, you know, pain management and all that. And then I saw another post from my friend who wanted to post and have people repost just acknowledging and giving love to people who have chronic pain. Some of my friends know that I have fibromyalgia, and I have a hair sticking up. And fibromyalgia is you know, sometimes they give these diseases titles, and when they really don't know what it is. And fibromyalgia is kind of one of those, but it is an autoimmune disease that deals with overactive nerves and muscle pain. And so as a result, 2014, and people have heard this story, and I've actually written about it in my book, that it started in 2013, and I didn't know what was going on with me. I've always been very active, and I do believe that probably a lot of this is environmental as well as it's based on what you have done to your body. I've been hard on my body. But anyway, I was diagnosed finally after a misdiagnosis of MS and neuropathy and all those kinds of things, and it boiled down to nerve pain. Winter is absolutely horrible to people with fibromyalgia. And I do know just from dealing with people with my illness is that they don't understand. I mean, I work out all the time. I'm at the gym, and you know, people forget that, you know, they're like, do this, and you know, I work hard. I've always worked out, and since I've had this illness, it has been a challenge to be, you know, who I used to be. And so I want to say that I put out on my Facebook, I took a piece of the piece that was circulating, and I put it on my Facebook about, you know, when you get a disease with cancer, you know, MS, fibromyalgia, any kind of disease that truly affects your body, it affects not only your body, your physical, you know, it affects your mental and spiritual self as well. And it's disheartening, and sometimes you can find yourself in a dark place when those things, you know, occur. With fibromyalgia, I have flare-ups, and I actually had one starting last week. I couldn't sleep, you know, all of last week, and even into yesterday, I was just feeling a lot of pain. But I do have to encourage people that, you know, pain subsides. I got this from one of the motivational speakers I listened to, Eric Thomas, and in a speech that he said, it was an old speech, but you know, it talked about crying to quit. You know, there are people who quit, and he was talking to a group of students with the how bad do you want it theme. Anyway, the goal was to encourage them to not quit when you have pain, but when you cry to, you know, stay in the game. You try to continue pressing on. And what I learned 2014 was about pressing on. It was probably my darkest time in my life. I've lived a long time, and it was pretty dark, because once your health starts to go, you know, things start to happen, and you're aging on top of it. Yes, I'm aging. You begin to, you know, you're questioning everything. You're dealing with, you know, thoughts about morality all of the time. And so what I had to realize as I was going through the journey And I'm being honest, God was blessing me. I was not a happy camper. I did not handle it well. And he did send me an angel to help me process. I'm going to tell you, I've had 3 angels in my life, and he sent me one. Anyway, the thing about it is that pain does subside. You do, as Eric Thomas was saying in the speech, pain subsides, and eventually something else takes its place. And it could be other pain. It could be something great. And I'm going to say that for people who don't understand about illness and things like that, I'm not a person to talk about it too much. I'm one of those people that, I'm going to compartmentalize this. It's not going to take over me. I'm going to keep pressing on because A, I know the Lord. B, I know myself. I have, the spirit of endurance. And I'm not going to say I always handle it perfectly, but I will say that I put forth the effort to know that tomorrow's a new day. And if I get stuck in today, like I have, for first going through this, I did not know what was going on with me. And I got really dark. I'm going to be honest. I contemplated, not being here just because of the fact that when something starts messing with your health, you get down. You just like, what's going on with me? But I quickly, the Lord was like, let me pull you back up. And I got back right. But I also went through the process. And a lot of people don't like going through the process of what it takes when you are really in pain and you have to seek you have to seek inside of yourself. You have to be spiritual about it so that it can help you understand why this might be your path. And even if you don't understand, it is a path, it is a journey that you have to accept, that you will have to take if you want to really get out of it what is meant. And so I will say that when I decided, Psalm 191, I always tell these people, Psalm 119:71 is what woke me up. I was so ashamed of myself for how I went through the process. But you know what? We all go through that. I was not as comfortable in my walk at that time. I was truly being challenged. But Psalm 119:71 is, it is good that I've been afflicted, for in my affliction I learned your statutes. And for, believers of God and believers of the Bible, that is meaningful to me, and I tell it to people all the time. So it is good that we are afflicted so that we will learn basically how to walk in our journey and process and going through a process, whether it's divorce, whether it's an illness, whether it's letting a child go to college or leave the house or what have you. You have to allow yourself to go through the process. People just like to fill it with something else because we don't want to be alone. We don't want to be sad. We don't want people to think that something could be wrong with us. We don't want the effect of judgment. And here's my point with that, because I've been divorced, and I've been divorced right now to the point where I can say I'm single. But I've been divorced since 2007. I've been, my child will have to leave me in 2 years. I have an illness. I have had other things that have happened too, that could, oh my gosh, that could really shut somebody up and make them want to crawl in a hole. But guess what? I am, I'm also a child of God, no matter what. I'm not going to say I'm a perfect child of God, but I am a child of God, and he reminds me of that. And then he says, I need to use you. And so today I am just, this is Monday inspiration for those people who are walking around feeling like, life is heavy. This is for people who are walking around with an autoimmune issue, with chronic pain. I've been in the bed, laid in bed a couple of hours later this morning because I knew that I was battling with something. And, just because we look a certain way does not mean that we don't fight to, get up. I thank the Lord for mobility every day. Every day is a blessing that I can move. I thank the Lord for where he has brought me and how he has brought me through those things. And I am also I realized that all of the stuff that we go after really isn't all that important, especially when your health starts to be questioned. You want to figure out what is the optimal level of life. And so you start going after that. And that's where I am. People, people come to me and I'm just like, okay, I'm trying to be about what God would have me do. And that's serve, and that's to be an inspiration, and that is to share. So that is what I have to keep coming back to, because just like everybody else, I get into my stuff and I'm thinking, well, what do you want me to do? But the bottom line is that I've been redeemed, I've been saved for reasons, and we all have. And what are those reasons, and are we fulfilling them? Every day is a formation of my journey. Every day is me saying, I'm going to submit to this. Every day is me reflecting and thinking about it. I don't always have to be in a dark place, in a dark closet, talking or listening. I hear things all of the time, and so I try to make sense of that what's being said to you. So for my pain bearers, in any capacity, in any kind of situation, look, ask what the process is, and ask for strength to walk through it. Ask for clarity. Oh my gosh, ask for clarity. Ask for guidance. You don't always have to know the answer, but if you can have some clarity going through it, you're not living in a brain fog, excuse me, ask for clarity. If you're not living in brain fog, good. But if you are confused and it's fuddled and it's muddied and it's confusing, it's uncertain, ask for clarity. Ask for clarity, and then ask for eyes to help you walk in the direction that you're supposed to go. Because if you don't ask for that and you start walking in directions, you will go where where your heart wants to go. You will go where your feelings want to go. And it's not always a good place. It's not always the place you should be. And even if you're supposed to be, you still got to understand why and what you're going to use that for. So that's my word for today. I just wanted to, I kind of wanted to concentrate on it. I got off my little education thing for a minute. I will say something about education. This is my little piece on education. So I tell my students this. It is wonderful to go to get your advanced degrees and all of that kind of stuff, but this is the reality of this. You are learning to problem solve. You are learning to be a contributor to society. If you send your kids to whatever school they want to go to, or you forcing them to go to school and what have you, if they want to go be there, just encourage them that they do have a voice. They are making a contribution to society. They need to make a contribution to society. When you force, or the kids feel like they have to do something, I'm going to be honest, they come and they sit like a bump on the log, and then they steal from the conversation. They don't offer anything. Let them know that the whole purpose for getting these wonderful degrees and all of this money that's spent getting them is for them to be a contribution to society. Not a taker, a giver. Not a taker, but a giver. I love teaching. We're in the 3rd week now, and I witnessed something amazing happen in one of my classes that decided to take the plunge. I teach 4 face-to-face classes, and one took the plunge. And it was my advanced class, and it was amazing. Critical thinking all in the place. I was warm and fuzzy. It is amazing to see. But then I had to try to sell it to the other 3 classes. Encourage your kids. Encourage them to be thinkers, not followers. Thinkers, offerers to society. We make a contribution. I'm saying that to my daughter every day. And to be a teacher, I know I'm hard on my own daughter. And she takes it. But do I feel like she could be doing more? Absolutely. But you know what? That doesn't disturb my message. She does, she just, she gets, now she's in pilot mode, so I'm glad. But it does take a minute. So anyway, I have talked a long time. But I do want to wish you peace, love, and happiness. Be a blessing to someone today. So I'll see you later next Monday. Bye.